morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the April 18th, 2024 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Roll call, please. Here.
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 Are there any conflict of interest statements?
No, sir.
Okay, the approval of the minutes of the meeting of April 11th, 2024.
Motion to approve those minutes.
Aye, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 5, bid openings. I don't see any. Number 6, matters from other department heads or their representatives. Mr. Button.
Good morning to the
Good
board.
morning.
A couple of weeks ago, this board approved a closure of Kennedy in Michigan, and that has obviously been delayed. NDOT has recently approved the permit application for that closure, but requires a 10-day notification period, so it'll be about 2 weeks from now, about 10 days from now, before they start working on the project. So I just wanted to give the board an update on where we were with that project, with the sanitary district is progressing.
And then same time frame to
60
conclusion?
days. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else from department heads or their representatives? Okay, moving on to number 7, correspondence. Correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $14,800 of CIB funding to be allocated for the 422 Sibley parking improvements and agreement for professional services with Nees Engineering submitted for approval.
Capital Improvement Board met Monday night to approve the funding for this project. Nees Engineering is going to help us with observation of the construction of 422 Sibley. This is the parking lot immediately east of the Paul Henry Studio downtown on Sibley. So I ask for your approval.
It's been signed by the controller and the mayor.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Correspondence, letter B, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $348,048.34 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Marble Street reconstruction and agreement with Milestone Contractors North submitted for approval.
This also was considered Monday night by the Capital Improvement Board. A little bit of a nuance here. Portions of the funding itself will come from an escrow account that's set up in that area, about $40,000, and then about 170, if our memory serves, 170K from a contribution from the water department. The balance will be CIB funding. That's all sort of set out in that. This is the construction contract with Milestone to actually build the street between Wabash and the state line. I'd ask for your approval.
Okay, it was also signed by the controller and the mayor.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letter C, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $7,740 of CIB funding to be allocated for the HAST traffic study and agreement for professional services with Nees Engineering submitted for approval.
HAST recently received a property donation on the south side of Russell Street, and they had approached our city controller at a recent meeting suggesting that there were some concerns about signage and traffic and crosswalks in that area. And so we're going to study the whole area around the Hammond Academy of Science and Technology in light of everything that's going on downtown. So we got a proposal from Nees Engineering. The Capital Improvement Board met Monday night and approved the funding for this project, so I'd ask for your approval.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, letter D, correspondence received from Dean Button advising of the ramp closures from southbound SR 912 to westbound I-8094 starting April 23rd, 2024 until approximately June 7th, 2024, and then southbound SR 912 to eastbound I-8094.
So these are the Klein Avenue to 8094 ramps. I just wanted the board to be aware of the situation, and so proper notice can go to the fire department and the police department advising them of this pending closure. So we're just asking you to accept it as a matter of record. There's nothing for you to approve.
The boulevard closed. Isn't Calumet and the boulevard closed now? The eastbound ramps?
Well, this is Klein Avenue.
Right, but is this going
89.
to affect all three of these? Will be closed at the same time? Is what I'm asking.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
Okay,
I don't
I don't
think
know how
those
long the
off
others are
ramps are
closed for.
closed for very long.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking about the
Oh,
eastbound.
that's true, but I'm just worried about FD getting up there. You got 3 intersections closed, and the only one to get on to eastbound would be at the boulevard. That's going to be rough for going for FD or PD assistance with the state
I don't think
troopers.
these are all conflicting, right? This is a
I think we
few,
just have to
a
make sure
few,
there's coordination, because the last thing we need is for.
3 major
Medic
intersections.
7 and, you know.
Medic 7,
PD.
yeah.
And, you know, we just had this, sorry. Good morning. We just had this issue come up recently regarding a meeting regarding trains, and if FD or, especially in Hessville, so this affects Klein, if FD has to get to an emergency because of a train stoppage, we want to make sure that they can access that part of town, even if they have to get on the highway at 8094 and get off. So if this impacts it, like for example, if Kennedy and Klein were both closed, or if Indianapolis and Calumet were both closed, you know, that becomes a problem for both the south side of Hammond, Woodmar area, and Hessville. So I just would ask the engineering department to make sure there's coordination so that we don't have
sure.
that impact on emergency vehicles. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'll reach out to the consultant for NDOT.
We still have to.
Just a matter of record.
Okay, gotcha.
There's no action to be taken.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, then moving on to letter E, correspondence received from Jeffrey Smith, Fire Chief, recommending Captain Inspector Philip Shearings be promoted to the rank of Assistant Chief, Chief Inspector, retroactive to April 15th, 2024, submitted for approval.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter F, correspondence received from Julia Pustic, Hammond Port Authority Finance Director, informing of the fireworks display for the annual 3rd of July fireworks celebration at Wolf Lake Memorial Park and the annual Hammond Marina Venetian Day and Night festivities on July 13th, 2024. The Mad Bomber will be the contractor, providing both professional aerial displays with the proper insurance and professional expertise.
I can report to the board that, as you know, there's a required request that comes to the board. I can also report to the board that this was approved by the park board last night. So that part of it was approved.
Okay,
To approve.
I second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry I was late. Could we go back, Mr. President, to matters from other department heads?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
I had two matters. One is a signed rehab agreement for 4143 Homan Avenue that expires July 30th. If I could present that to the board. It is signed by Mr. Gomez, the owner.
Okay,
If we could set a status for that,
just prior? Or
just prior, just right around that time, yep. And then if there is another status, Linda will only keep one of them, but
You want to do before it, the 25th, or after it?
let's go after.
So August 4th, or August 1st?
Sure, August 1.
Okay,
Okay. Motion to set the matter for status for August 1st, 2024.
I second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The other item I had, Mr. President, was last night at the park board meeting, Laney Bunner, who is the head of animal control in the city, let the park board know, asked for use of the Civic Center regarding an event that I believe is taking place May 11th, but I think they're going to do a request, but I wanted to bring it to the board's attention because I think EMA might want to know on PD, because they're going to be doing a free vaccine and microchip giveaway it's like a drive-through. And they expect a pretty large crowd
Okay.
for dogs and cats or whatever, pets, I guess. I wonder if you could do like a lizard. I don't know. But they said microchips for pets, so I don't have a lizard. But. So anyway, I wanted to let EMA know and let PD know, because there might be a traffic issue on Seoul potentially that they need to be aware of. So it sounded like they might need a little help with traffic control. So just looking.
May 11th, yeah.
Thank you.
Got it.
Yep. Gotcha, okay. Any, let's see, where were we at? From 8. Okay, matters from board members, anything?
No, sir.
Okay, moving on to number 9, A, funding allocation request form requesting $20,000 of the 6th District Gaming Fund be allocated for the Gibson Park Playground, submitted for approval. Good. Yeah.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Moving on to letter B, funding allocation request form requesting $5,000 of the 6th District Fund to be allocated for the Little Red Schoolhouse submitted for approval.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter C, order to rescind and release, order to demolish only, costs remain for property located at 1524 Michigan Street, garage submitted for approval.
Talked to Mr. Castro. The garage is down, the pad remains, and there's also a disabled vehicle that I believe is going to be tagged, but the garage is down. So if we could please have the order to rescind the demo as presented.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter D, declaration of property as worthless by the IT department submitted for approval.
As the board's aware, these requests come here and there from different departments. This is a bunch of old technology equipment that we'd ask the board to be declared worthless under the appropriate statute. I think we've listed it, and we probably have some other description of it. So it's been listed in,
Okay.
it's a resolution, right?
Yep.
Okay, yep.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter E, right-of-way permits. Looks like there's 4 of them received from engineering submitted for approval.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There's actually 2 from AT&T, really small boring jobs, maybe 100 feet or so. 2 from Passion. Passion's going to do Willow Court and Bulletin Court, just paving one day, May 14th. And Holman Avenue closure, they're requesting it be pushed back to June for approximately 6 weeks. That was approved prior, that one segment,
Okay,
so I would recommend approval.
okay.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter F, disposal authorizations received from the Hammond Police Department submitted for approval. Looks good.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter G, request for rental registration hearing submitted for approval. Did I? Where's that? Yeah.
Motion to set 3 status dates. For May 2nd, we will hear 5. May 9th, we'll hear 6, and May 16th, we'll hear 7.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to letter H, garage sale permits submitted for approval. Yeah.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Letter I, order to rescind and release order to demolish property located at 7508 Birch Avenue submitted for approval.
Happy to report that this is a kind of a total rehab, so you can see the all
Nice.
fixed up.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Nice, all set up. So I would request the order to rescind be approved as presented.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter J, order to rescind and release order to demolish property located at 6624 Missouri Avenue submitted for approval.
This has been before the board several times. In fact, the resolution of this by the board granting the order to rescind, you can take off 10D from your agenda because this resolves this matter. And again, another great rehab. Appreciate Mr. Luter and the inspections department following this along. So
Okay.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to number 10, old business. Letter A, residential parking only signage, subject to tow, 6,700 blocks of Bering, Ridgeland, and Northcott.
So this is coming from the administration and also the park department. There have been several residential complaints because of the overwhelming popularity of the sportsplex. They've had huge volleyball tournaments from teams all over the Midwest, and that has resulted in a very a difficult parking situation at times. There's 4 lots now that are being used, but those even get filled. And so some folks are parking a little bit closer by using the residential streets, especially Ridgeland, I think. I think Barring's one way the other way, and but Northcutt's only on one side. But we would, the mayor especially is trying to respond to neighborhood complaints. I think at this point, the board has the ability to do temporary signage for a period of time up to 90 days. So if we could do that, and then in the meantime, if there needs to be a resolution before the board for permanent, we can do that.
Okay.
And they should say subject to tow, I would request, because we did want to give folks in that area notice that if they do park there, they are going to be towed.
Okay. More stress on the 90-day part. Yeah.
Motion to approve the 90-day temporary parking bans subject to tow for the 6,700 blocks of Bering, Ridgeland, and Northcott.
Could we also request a status date of around 90 days?
July 25th? 18?
One more, oh wait,
Oh,
would
no,
20,
25th.
would that be 90?
A little bit more than 90.
Okay,
May,
can we
June,
go like the 2 weeks prior to that, maybe like the 11th? And that way we can decide if we're gonna make them permanent.
Okay, motion to set the matter for status for July 11th, 2024.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter B, gas station updates, status updates. The first one, letter A, 6845 Indianapolis Boulevard, or 2007 169.
All right, Mr. Novak's here. Want to get on that one? Mr. Farrell is here. I believe we had the owner is here. Okay, good. I'll let you come up here. I'll go over here with Tom for the update. Tom, you want to go ahead and give the board where we're at?
Yeah, so we had a status 2 weeks ago, but I had just gotten back in town and wasn't able to corroborate some things. So that Friday, right after the meeting, I met with the owner here, and there were a couple things fixed. There was some, parking spaces striped, and, some of the holes in soffit were boarded up, but I was informed basically that he's working now with contractor and property manager Jeff Brandt to remodel the interior and to facelift the exterior. And so my understanding is, they can pick up the trash and weeds and remove signs out of the windows, which they have removed most of the signs out of the windows, but they're waiting for, that bigger project to take care of a lot of these items. If you wanted to, what kind of stuff did you have? You're gonna paint and
Yeah, we
redo all that?
already done everything, so we are working on inside and outside with the Mr. Jeff Brandt, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know the name of the contractor? here?
Jeff,
Jeff,
so Jeff Brandt,
Okay.
yeah. He's done work with multiple gas stations at Hammond. He's currently working on another project down the street on Indianapolis Boulevard, but as soon as he's done with that, he's gonna help him. So, do we have kind of a timeline, do you think?
as soon as possible.
Well, this summer, I'm guessing.
But saying as soon as possible, why are
Yes.
we here today? Why did it take this long? I don't understand.
No, we already done whatever we have the violation, that time we have opened, we already done everything. But
They've done a number of things. There's still some holes in soffit and wires hanging, graffiti and things that need to be painted and stuff like that, yeah.
That stuff
He
on-
did apply for they did get the dumpster enclosure permit done and approved, so. But yeah, go ahead.
I want just to fill the board. I did speak to the district inspector who had an active citation for violations at the property. The inspector did notify me that in January of this year, January 2024, they violated the supervision that the citation was placed on by those conditions and violations still existing. And there is a current status date in May to have a judge, he's preparing a judgment request to present to the judge for that violation. So when there's a citation issued, if it's a repetitive issue year after year, the inspector will request a supervision timeframe to ensure that it stays in compliance. And in that timeframe, if those violations resurface and another citation is issued, then that violates the supervision and automatically has a judgment requested. So I know I spoke with the owner. They did take care of the licensing issues. They registered the business name that they're operating with the Secretary of State. They filed the appropriate paperwork to legally be able to use that name and apply for licensing under it. So that is one thing, I can say they took care of pretty quickly.
So, but we're confused though, because when this happened, we said you have these violations. In
Correct.
good faith, we're gonna let you stay open, knowing that you're going to fix them.
Yep.
So 2 weeks ago, we're here, and it sounded like on his behalf, everything was done, and on our behalf, not much was done. So I'm still confused about
Yeah.
that part, and why are we in April, and we're still even talking about any of that stuff?
Right.
It should have all been repaired.
Yeah, it's not.
So I want to focus, if we could, just on the findings and order of the board, right? Because I understand that Nick's got something in court, but we're not here on that. I appreciate the update, of course, but, so like, for example, and I guess I would just ask Tom, signage is, these are the things that you said to him, here's what we got to fix, right? Signage blocking more than 25% in most windows and over both front doors, 100% blockage in some window panes, especially due to shelving, and must be corrected. Tom?
When I went by there last, he had removed almost everything. There were just one or two window panes we wanted to see more removed from.
Okay, so substantial improvement.
So, yeah, I would say that's the most improved out of anything.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through them, let them update, and then, of course, the board is going to do what the board's going to do. The second is temporary and permanent signs in windows and on bollards without permit.
So I did notice one was still on a bollard. I told him to remove it when I saw him last. I assume that it's gone, but I haven't been by in a couple of days.
Okay.
So, similar to the previous count, so.
So would you, outside of the bollard sign, where are we?
I would say that that one's fine.
Okay. Next is large yellow sign on fence by alley. Signs on fences are prohibited.
So that has not been removed.
Okay.
I'm not sure when it was put up.
All right, I don't know if you want him to respond to
Yeah,
these or.
sort of let's start with the windows. How come that's an easy fix to me? Why wasn't that taken care of right away?
Actually, those are, we already done the window, but they have the clear sign we can see from the inside on, but they have like the shadow signs on it.
So where they, on the side where they have their cash register and all that, some of it's pretty blocked by shelving, so they did have some signage that is kind of they can see out, but you can't really see in.
But the point is that the
We wanna
police
see
have to
it.
see in.
We wanna see
Yes,
in, yes.
so I think moving around shelving in some way would help with that, because then you would be able to see through and there would be no reason to have the signs. I recommended having blinds. He says the sun is very hot coming in through that window. So I recommended maybe installing some kind of blinds or awning, but.
Okay, so the signs on the fence, what's the story with that? How come those haven't been removed?
Signs on the
So
fence?
there is a large yellow sign on the fence. Technically, there is a statute that you're not allowed to have signs on fences. I guess the question would be, how long has it been there and did it pre-exist? You know, I know that sign's been there for a long time.
It's always there, like almost 20 years, the sign on the fence.
Yeah.
That's-
I would say that's. the
Okay,
least
so
of
for
the-
clarification going forward, does it have to be removed or
If it was
doesn't
going
it?
to be removed, it can never be replaced, but if it was removed, it can't be put back.
So it
Can't be
doesn't have to be
replaced.
moved though, because
No,
it-
but in the future, I would say he can't, yeah.
So Tom's saying it
And
might
if
be
it gets
grandfathered
damaged
in.
and has to be taken
Yeah.
down, then it's.
But it's still in good condition.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. No striping observed of parking lot surface for parking spaces. And they need at least one ADA parking space.
So they did stripe some spaces on the north end of the lot. However, they did place the ADA space, I think, on too far from the door. It should have been closer. Moving forward, I'd like to see him fix that somehow and move the ADA space.
So it's
But the
not-
standard spaces have been striped.
And then the dumpster enclosure was the other one.
Yeah, and I did have a permit for multi-fence, which we've approved.
And then empty rusted cages for propane tanks.
We already removed it.
That's moved?
Yes.
Okay. Everything else was weeds, which I think Nick
Yeah.
referred to
We
in
take care
his.
for everything on those.
Paint and peeling paint and gutters and downspouts soffit. So I think that's been
So
addressed.
those are the kind of things that I'm talking about where, it definitely could use an upgrade if there's holes in soffit. Some of the downspouts are loose, there's peeling paint, a little bit of graffiti in the alley, which I know is a constant challenge. But those are the kinds of things that I feel haven't really been addressed as much. And so it doesn't look like there's much improvement there. when you drive by. My understanding is all that going to be handled when Jeff Brandt does the
Yes, sir.
remodel? Okay, so, obviously we need to see plans as soon as possible.
What's the timeline for the remodel?
As soon as we get the permit, so we are working on it.
I mean, what's the realistic timeline? Are you waiting,
Jeff-
he's waiting to get it back from you?
So Jeff hasn't, yeah, so I know Jeff was working on another project up the street. I don't know, I told Jeff send me plans, that was on April 8th was my last correspondence. We need to get plans, of course, so the building department, everyone can look at them, and then we can move on to the permits, so it could be, it's gonna be months.
See, to me, the board has to set the tone from the very beginning that we're not going to tolerate people not making the corrections that we ask them to make.
Yes.
So, and now we're sitting here today, and I don't have a date, we don't have a date when that's going to happen. I don't know how to go forward if you don't have a date. It should have been done already. These plans that you say he needs, they should have been done already. I don't understand why we're dealing with it
No,
today.
whatever the violation we have it, we already done everything, but we are working on like extra stuff.
No, but see, that's what, I'm confused. You're saying you're done with everything, but Tom is saying you're not. So there's a disconnect here somewhere. I don't know what's going on, but
So, for example, there were some holes in soffit in eaves. On one side, they replaced the rotten boards, but then on two of the other sides, they haven't. So, I mean, some work was done, yes, but I just don't think it was up to the standards of, what we want to see, so.
well, I don't know how to respond, because if we don't have a date that he can give us that this is going to be done, I think our only option is going to be to pull that ability to stay open all night
We
away.
were gonna, I manage some of his businesses, we were gonna redo everything all at once and, make it really nice on the outside, but we can get it done by the end of next week. That part, get like a coating on it. and
All
then
the
we can-
things he talked about
Yes,
today?
Yes, we'll get it done at the end of next week. He didn't come check. For sure it'll be done. And then whenever we get the permit for the next stuff, then we can do it the way we wanna do it.
I think we need a realistic timeline for the big rehab, right? If they're going to say that they're going to fix a lot of this stuff in a week, sure, let's get, I mean, it's up to the board. I don't have a problem with that. If it's a week, then I think that's reasonable. I think at the end of the day, I didn't feel like we were getting a really good response from a
Neither do-
timeline.
Neither do we.
Yeah,
And we're
so
confused right now still on some of the things.
if the board wants to wait a week and give them that week to see what happens, and then I'm with you. By next week, if this isn't like, here's what's going on, this is all done, and here's our timeline for the rehab, the remodel, I mean, I would leave it to the board's discretion as to whether to pull the overnight permit.
Well, I'm only one member of the board, but I will tell you that I think we'll grant the week, but if there isn't significant, and I mean significant improvements by next Thursday, this won't happen again.
Okay.
Because we have to set the tone, and we can't have everybody coming back constantly saying, I'm doing it next week, next week, next week. That can't happen.
And as I've mentioned, I mean, it's a privilege, not a right, to be open overnight.
100%.
So, and this was signed by the board November 28th of 2023 is when you signed the order.
Okay, so status for do we want to do next Thursday because of the trial? Should we go to the next Thursday? Or
I thought the trial was set at 10, though.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, we'll just do status next week. Gentlemen, there has to be, significant improvement, okay? Or you're going to lose the ability to be open all night. I think that's fair, so.
Thank you.
Motion to set the matter for status for April 25th, 2024.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you. Letter B, 10770 Indianapolis Boulevard.
So this is the Luke Oil up on the boulevard. I see Mr. Fife here today. As you know, Mr. Fife was present for all the hearings. I think we've got actually two Lukes, right? We got 10770 and then we got 3550 Sheffield. I guess if you want to take them together, we can. If
We
Mr.
can,
Fife wants
yeah.
to take them together,
Sure.
he can. I know that this letter was sent out because up at 10770, there were an update from Mr. Novak that the items listed in the findings and order were not addressed or not fully addressed. So I'm going to let Tom set the base here for things on 10770, and then we'll go.
Yeah, this is, This is the one that's way up north. It hasn't been redone like a lot of the other stations in the last couple of years, but it's a Citgo / Dunkin' / fireworks / shop / Luke's. But there was a number of things here last year, including, some hanging electrical wiring from a sign, not a good ADA path or space marked, no dumpster enclosure. There was a shipping container on site. No, there was also here, yeah. So there was a couple things. I did have a discussion I went up there a couple weeks ago and I did have a discussion with our associate here yesterday. And it seems to me that, again, a lot of the stuff wasn't being addressed, but a lot of it has been addressed in the last couple of weeks and is being addressed now. If you kind of want to get into,
Sure.
if the board doesn't mind.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So when I received the letter, March 21st, in reference from the Hammond Law Department, in reference to our compliance, just so you know, we were going to wait to spring because we were doing a whole refresh across our board of all of our lukes. So awnings, you name it, a whole refresh. So kind of where we were waiting till the springtime to start getting on these. But I met with our billing of Director of Builds, Don Buckowitz. As of right now, the signage and the window blocking will be taken down. I told Tom that we'll get before and after pictures, and I'll send them to him this afternoon. The ADA parking, that's in progress at both, do you want me to go both locations or just one?
Well,
Yes.
Okay,
That's fine.
they're in progress at both locations. It's the springtime now, so asphalt's starting to coming about, so then we'll start fixing up our lot as far as potholes go. Again, with the planting beds, springtime is when our third vendor goes out, takes care of our lots and our around our landscaping. We are currently getting bids on both sites for the dumpsters from Hammond Fence and T&K Masonry.
Okay.
Just so you know, T&K Masonry, we had a signage that went down brick that T&K Masonry wasn't able to do until like the nice weather in March. That happened in December. So we're getting those two bids out for both locations as far as a 6-foot enclosure goes. As far as the license goes for Dunkin', that's not ours, they rent from us. My understanding is they are probably going to be out this year at that location. But our COO, Dana Moore, will work with that owner. I talked to Tom and Lisa yesterday, and Don, that we'll reach out to that owner and try to get a license for them being in our property. As far as the fireworks stand goes, that's just seasonal. That operates out of 236. It's another venue of ours. But Kathy Campbell will submit that to Lisa when she does all of last year's and all of this year's with the new guidelines that were put forth as far as getting licenses go for all of our businesses.
shipping container?
I'm sorry?
Shipping container?
That was gone last year. So
Okay.
when we met in October, that was gone like that week. The one at 265 will be gone. We're going to replace
What's
that.
265, is that Sheffield?
That's Sheffield.
Yes.
That one will be gone. That just holds our outdoor cleaning supplies for the pumps and some cups. We will do what we do similar to the location across from Starbucks on the Boulevard, which is a plastic shed. And that'll go on the rear of our building there. As far as, again, the trash, we do have a checklist with our employees that try to stay on top of the trash. Again, it is a busy location, but they do have a checklist that they have to do every hour to stay on top of the trash at both locations. Our third-party vendor who takes care of our weeds and everything just started this week. And so now we've got them on a regular schedule to take care of all of our up north properties, which is a big undertaking. The drop box, we've moved that several times. We don't have anything to do with that company or whoever does it. I don't know if we can maybe get assistance from the city of Hammond or not, but
It's a nightmare, I can tell you that.
every
We've dealt
time we
with
take it
them.
down, they
They
just
bring
push it
another one?
further and further on our property.
Right.
So, I mean, it's like a losing battle with.
But it's
whoever
on your
tries it.
property, right?
Correct.
Do they have permission to have it
No,
there?
no. And we take it down every time and they replace it.
They literally drop them anywhere,
Yeah.
Kevin,
Yes.
sometimes it's
We
amazing.
removed it at least
It's
twice.
amazing to me.
And I've heard that from other places besides Mr. Fife saying that they once the property owner removes it, they're getting another one
Is
like
Chris
this.
here?
He was.
Okay. Nick, could you potentially look into citing the owner of those boxes? I know that it's not easy, and this is.
Right. No,
But-
I know that the ordinance says, state in order to have them on the property, they should have that information posted, but also, I mean, if we see a truck A lot of times there's a big white box truck that backs into them to empty them. If I see them there, I can block them and call you guys, right?
Yes, I wouldn't block them, but you can call us, I don't want you to
I mean,
get shot at
I
or
don't want them
something,
going
but-
nowhere.
No, I get it, but I would, yeah, but
Yeah.
Get the
we,
plate.
All right.
there was one down here we had problems with for years. They
Yeah.
kept putting it back and it would get
It's
taken away
horrible.
and so on and so
I
forth.
mean, even by Plasky Park.
I just want to ask Mr. Fife on the record if we have the permission, if the inspections and PD has permission to do whatever they need. They don't, just affirm that they don't have permission to be on your property.
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so I think it's a trespass at this point, right?
Yes.
So-
Yep.
Okay, sounds like it, so we'll deal with that once. And if, by the way, let your manager know.
Yes.
If he or she sees them out there, call PD, right? Call 911, because that's the number you got to call for a cat in the tree or
Yes.
somebody getting shot, apparently. So, and just call and then they'll come out, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And we even do that for the pop-up vendors that sell
great, thank
tamales
you.
or whatnot that
Same
are on the
thing.
corner of all of our locations up there, that we tell them that they got to move on.
And yeah, and again, for that kind of stuff also, like patrol is aware of the licensing requirements for pop-up vendors and stuff, so just have them call 911.
Okay.
And the patrol is aware of this. I know that the president of the board is also the assistant chief of the police department, will let patrol know about this, right? So if
Yes.
they call on this, so they'll be aware.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll work with you on that.
So Kevin, the question is when we granted the permission to stay open and there were stuff that had to be repaired, I mean, wasn't there expectations that would be done immediately, or at least as soon
Yeah,
as
I mean,
possible?
I think that was our good faith belief that every respondent would, or every petitioner would be doing these things timely, right? I get that asphalt plants close, right? I mean, that, and there, by the way, at the Sheffield address, there is a significant issue with the asphalt there regarding like, there's pooling of water and things like that, which I assume Mr. Fife's going to say that it's going to happen this spring because that's when the asphalt plant's open. But yeah, some of the stuff like signage, get rid of the, get rid of the storage container, any kind of like upkeep, I would think like the old telephone booth, that stuff should be done within 30 days, I would think. But that's why we had, Mr. Novak go out, and I know we're, 5 months later, 6 months later, so yes, to answer your question, we would have expected some better compliance. I guess the flip of that would be that, Luke is present in a lot of parts of the city. For the most part, I think they've complied with city requirements. They're pretty, they're good corporate citizens, and we just want to see compliance. And we don't want to have the perception that we're picking on one station over another. That's why Tom did a review of all these, and Luke is not in compliance on these too. So we would just ask that what Mr. Fife's saying to the board today is complied with in pretty good timeline. I would request the board set another status so that Mr. Fife can go back and report to the board, and I know he understands, just like I've told the other gas station owners, that this is a privilege, not a right at these stations, and we expect compliance.
So Mr. Fife, what is your expectations for most of that being completed?
Well, like I said, the signage today, we're getting the estimates from T&K and Hammond Fence for both locations. So once we receive that, I don't know what the timeline is for them to get that done at both. 2 weeks for the uncapped electrical wiring at 236, that'll be gone. The payphone at 265 will be gone in 2 weeks. The numbers will be displayed on the back of both businesses by next week. The checklist, again, the cleaning of the lots done every day. Third party of the weeds and lawns, they just started this week.
About that vacated drive-through window, and that.
So it is operable in the event that we need to close down and just maybe have just one worker in there that they're working out of the store itself with the doors locked. I mean, it is an operable window.
That's for what, Sheffield, right?
That's
Yeah.
the Sheffield address. The shipping container, probably in about 2 weeks, that'll be gone. And then we'll get that shed up at 265. As far as the major project with the asphalt goes and the major parking lot, we'll have to see with who we have for asphalt. And I think there's that dip to where we need a curb maybe put in or whatnot to stop that second maid entrance into our station on Sheffield.
I'm good with 2 weeks if the board is. The only other thing I was going to say is that over the winter, I don't think Mr. Novak was able to necessarily get out there on some of these major project stuff. So there's a little bit of that as well, but I know now he's on top of getting updates from everyone.
Lots of more next.
Yes, more next week. So if we get 2 weeks for Mr. Fife, if the board's okay with that?
We are. I just want, again, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that at some point we have to, put our foot down and say, enough's enough. So we'll make a status date for 2 weeks.
Motion-
Again, I mean, just so you know, it's just, we were waiting to spring
I
to tackle
gotcha.
this with all of our upgrades that we were going to conduct on all of our sites.
Okay.
Okay, appreciate
Motion
it.
to set
Thank
it
you.
for status for May 2nd, 2024.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, letter C, because we took care of B and C for letter B. So letter C, status for 251 Detroit.
All right, is anybody here for 251 Detroit? Hi. All right, the owner's here.
Yes, she is here, and I already spoke with her. I said Attorney Smith would, if he has anything to input, or just waiting for me.
So on this property, Ms. De La Paz was here initially, and then we had a status for February 8th, March 14th, in which she did not appear, and we then set it over for today. I know she lives there with her mom, right? No. You and your kids, okay. Okay, so Ms. De La Paz lives there with her kids. I know she works, and I think she expressed to the board that she's going to do everything she can to fix it up. But I don't know where the status is, so Bill?
So as part of the process, we're training Inspector Batista.
Hey, Kev, can we ever come up? Yeah, sorry, Bill.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
I'll have her come up.
Ma'am, just for the record, can you give us your full name, please?
It's Brenda De La Paz.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so as part of the process, I'm currently training Inspector Batista how to do a demo inspection. There was a hiccup with him having access to the demo records. We did complete the inspection. We found one thing very alarming. I spoke with Chief of Inspections Kearney and Building Commissioner Vale. We allowed her to complete the roof because the house had no roof. Literally, it was tarped. When we went up to the attic, there were no shingles, there was no felt, nothing. So we allowed her to do that. I did complete an ice and water inspection earlier this week. The demo inspection will be completed, hopefully next couple days, depending on the ability for us to get together for me to show them how to formulate that report. So the plan is, as we've spoken, and I hope Chief Kearney agrees that because she lives there, we may allow her to do this on homeowner's permits because she is still occupying the home.
Okay. So what are we doing today then?
Well, I mean, we'll let her and see if she has a time frame for when she can get everything done, depending on when we can get the report to her and the rehab agreement and such.
Okay. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Do you have a time frame when you expect everything to be done?
Tomorrow, they're gonna finish up, they did all the framing, and he went.
Yeah, the
Tuesday.
roof should be done tomorrow.
Okay.
So the only part that was missing was the shingles, so he had to be approved by him on Tuesday. So he got approved, so now, tomorrow, they're gonna finish up.
Finish up the job tomorrow?
Yeah, just the roof.
Yeah.
The
just-
larger problems of electrical issues, plumbing, the exterior appearance, that will obviously take her some time.
Okay.
But we have to get her a report and a rehab agreement.
Do we need to establish how much that time is going to be, or?
Well, the rehab agreement will be the general 90 days.
Gotcha, okay.
So if we can get it, if I can get that between today and tomorrow with Inspector Batista, we can get it to Ms. De La Paz to sign, and hopefully
Next Thursday.
next Thursday, we can be doing a rehab agreement in place.
Do we have a good email address for Ms. De La Paz?
Yes, I've been emailing with her.
So do we need a status to make sure the roof is completed, or you're satisfied it will be?
I mean, it's at a point where it's probably better shape than it was with just a tarp over top, but shingles, that should hopefully be completed as soon as weather
Yeah.
allows. It looks like rain coming in, so.
Okay, so we don't need any action today then? Just
No, do
the
we want
update?
to, Kevin, you think maybe we want to set this for 30 days just to make sure we have everything in order in a signed rehab agreement?
Yeah, 30 days is fine. And then if we get a rehab agreement, what we'll do is vacate the 30-day and set it down for the
Gotcha.
90-day once we get the rehab agreement signed.
Okay, we're going to set it for May 23rd, is that okay? Yep.
Motion to set the matter for status for May 23rd, 2024.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving past letter D because it was taken care of already, down to letter E, status for 1315 170th Street.
You got that?
Mr. Hawkins has talked with the property owner, and they agreed to continue this to May 16th. So if we can get a status date for May 16th.
Yep.
Thank you.
Motion to set the matter for status for May 16th, 2024.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Letter F, status for 6946 Arizona.
I believe I saw Mr. Rhodes here earlier, so just to update the board, it was set for status on 12/28. Nobody appeared, set for status then on February 8th. No one appeared, but there was a report from Mr. Luter that work was progressing and that the fence was obviously fixed pretty quickly before February 8th. That was one of the big issues, and it was reset today for status.
I should have it sold in about 90 days. I know the biggest problem was the fence. The fence is 100% complete, and I need the money. I need to sell it. It needs to be done.
You got a photo of that, Chris? Because here's
Sure.
I wouldn't mind showing the board the before and after, the back of the fence. Yeah.
And sir, just for the record, could you give us your full name again?
Christopher Rhodes, and we did extensive work on the lot next to us, which is not ours, but we did. There was a line of trees down the whole street.
What was the time frame you expect to sell?
90 days, sir.
90 days?
And it should be sold. It's going to be fixed and sold. We did get, because of the winter, we did go to other projects. We do have 2 new homes being built at Millennium, Michigan, and Calumet.
Yeah, this is a home that I think is actually going to be a great rehab. We have it owned by Sundancer, is that you?
Yes.
Okay, so,
And we're
if we
trying
could-
to buy the lot next door, too. We found out that Shepherd Homes owned it.
the only thing I was going to mention, Mr. Rhodes, is obviously we're under a demo order, so if you need that rescinded before the closing, I think probably we should set this maybe for 60.
60?
And then he can let us
Okay,
know if
that'd
he's
be
good.
great. That'd
Because
be
then if
great.
it's good to go by then, I'd prefer Mr. Luter or Mr. Kearney letting the board know to rescind it, and then that'll just free up the issue at closing, and he's free to go.
All right, thank you.
60, if we could get a 60-day date.
Is June 27th, okay?
That's fine. I'm going to lock it into the phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to set the matter for status for June 27th, 2024.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, letter G, status for 1463 Indianapolis Boulevard.
So 1463 Indianapolis, this was set for status today. It was up before the board on 3/28 regarding the 5,000. We're talking about a $5,000 bond. We do have a rehab agreement signed by the board, approved by the board on March 7th that expires on June 8th. So I'll let Mr. Luter give us a status.
I'm glad to report that the bond was posted shortly after that previous meeting. Permits have been pulled, work has begun, they just haven't got to the point of any inspections yet. So that is progressing with Dragonfly renovations. So I think we should probably set a date closer to that expiration of the rehab.
And just so the board's aware, and I actually Mr. Luter as well, I have the rehab agreement signed by Mr. Pedro Correa, GMA Realty.
Yes, I believe he was the gentleman that was here that day.
Okay, so Dragonfly is just the
Dragonfly is the
contract.
contractor, yes.
So we have a June 8th expiration of the
So
rehab.
just right before it,
Right before, right after, I think.
Somewhere in there.
we have June 6th.
That's fine.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Motion to set the matter for status for June 6th, 2024.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to number 11, rental registration hearing for letter A, 3508 170th Court. Yeah, no. Thank you.
Let's see. All right, Mr. Johnson. Seeing as Mr. Johnson fails to appear, I would request the board deny the appeal.
Motion to deny.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to number 12, the meeting is now open to the public. Does anybody have anything like to say? Good morning.
Good morning.
You could give us your name, please?
Linda, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Linda Eikenser.
Can you pull that mic down towards you? Just pull it down, it'll come down. There you go.
Linda Eikenser.
Okay, how can we help you?
Yes, sir. I came home from work yesterday, and they demolished the house next door to me. I live at 942, so they demolished 944 State Street. And
What was the street, 944 what? State?
9 State Street.
Okay,
So as I came in and put my stuff down, opened the back door, and they removed the railing to my back porch. They messed up the side of the back siding and the back of the siding, the siding and the side in the back. They messed up the gutters towards the back of the house, and they messed up the siding in the front.
So just so the board's aware, this was a self-demo. It was not a demolition by any of the city's contractors that did bid out or anything like that. So I know that Mr. Castro has indicated to the homeowner that she should request public records so that she can get the information regarding who did it and the permit. Obviously, it's a civil matter. She should, I'm sure what she's saying to the board is true.
Right.
It sounds like she has the ability to make a claim against this building contractor. I also would request that Mr. Kearney alert the contractors board regarding this so that the contractors board could also take this up potentially, right? Because it could impact their license. So that's what we can do on our end from the city. But of course, we want to make sure that she knows that she needs to pursue this against the contractor.
Oh, okay.
Right, from a civil. But we'll do what we can from a licensing perspective, but it's a civil matter between her and the contractor.
But there was stuff stolen? Is that what I understand?
No.
I didn't hear stolen, I heard damaged.
Just all damaged, nothing stolen?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you said something was taken.
No, it was
Okay,
damaged.
Then absolutely. So can you talk, ma'am, talk to Mr. Kearney when the meeting's over, and he'll give you his contact information, and hopefully you guys can help each other figure out who did it.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you want to say something? Go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you.
Could you just say who you are?
I'm Jose Galvan, 1521 Summer Street. Thank you. She called me, she told me about the issues, so since I became a contractor and I was told how to proceed, and then I remember that we had to have a bond. So I asked her to come here so she can explain the issue. And the issue is, if you see the pictures, when it comes to being a contractor, that is beyond. The contractor didn't even attempt to contact the homeowner to say, "Hey, I'm going to place the plywood next to your house." That becomes a dangerous situation. If she wants to get out the window for whatever reason, she can't get out the window, so she has to sleep somewhere else instead of in the room. Now the other thing is, like, the contractor in one of the pictures removed her back porch railing or damaged the whole part and left it right there, and left a whole lot of debris all around her house, damaged her siding. So if it is, I am a contractor, and I like to be held accountable if I commit that kind of damage, because that is the contractor saw her and they didn't even attempt to say, "I damaged your property, I will fix it." Today I drove by her house because she don't have a car, and I picked her up. The contractor again saw her, they didn't even attempt to say, "I damaged your property, I will fix it."
They're there now?
They're there. Now,
Are they there right now?
They're there.
Because I can send a squad over if we need to.
Maybe make a report.
The one issue is we called yesterday, and
Hold on, just one second.
Hold on one second, because if there's damage, then like you said, it's a civil matter, but if something was taken or purposely damaged, that's a different story.
Permit, they need to call for inspection for this type of work.
Well, do you have somebody that can go over there right now? Okay, then let me know if they do. I'll send a squad as soon as the meeting's over.
Okay, so we're going to try to work on it from our end, okay? You obviously have a civil matter that you can, if you want to file a lawsuit against the contractor, fine. We're going to work on it from the contractor's board end, okay?
What I would like to ask, if, because I don't know how the process, if they have a bond, due to that she's new and I'm trying to help her figure out how to fix her house, is if the bond has a date to release, not to release it until she gets a hold of a contractor to cash in, to go after the bond, to fix her house. If you can hold on to the bond, that's what I'm saying. It's
Like I explained to them downstairs when they came to the window, we can't just give them records out. They have to do the request for public records. I gave her the form to fill out for the request for public records, asking for the contractor's name, their bond, and their insurance information. Once they submit the form and it goes through the law department, we'll get it and we can give her that information.
But they do have to have a bond.
Yes,
That's
all
the
licensed
question.
contractors in the city of Hammond have to have a bond,
Okay.
active bond and insurance
But again,
to be
the
licensed.
claim against that bond is
On them.
outside of the city.
I
We
got
don't-
you. We didn't have anything to do with it, yeah.
Right.
They need to consult either with, and I don't know if you have a lawyer. If not, if you need financial assistance regarding a lawyer, the legal aid clinic is also available to you. If you obviously, if you can pay for a lawyer, great. If you need a lawyer to talk to because of your financial situation, you can use the legal aid clinic.
Okay.
And actually, can we send something over to the legal aid clinic, just give them a heads up if you go to the legal aid clinic, let Mr. Castro know and he'll help. Okay. All right.
I really appreciate it if you can follow on the pictures, because I'm not a lawyer, but based on what they've done,
But this is not something we need though, sir. We're gonna see if there was a criminal act. I'm gonna send a police officer over there. If something criminal was done, we'll take care of Art on that part. If there wasn't, when you take them to civil court, they'll need those pictures.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Because you can handle that in the qua of your duties as
well,
the
my
chief of
duties,
police.
exactly, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Nick, somebody's on the way over there?
Yeah, Bill's going, that's gonna be his first stop. There is a contractor who was issued a permit for this work.
Okay, as soon as we're finished, I'm gonna send a squad over there. Okay, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.